In this video, we're going to talk about meters, specifically assigning them to an asset and then going in and taking meter readings. This is a common function in industrial workforce, and you're likely to end up needing to do this quite often in Maximo. So here's our asset again, our triplex pump. We're going to come in here and just click new row, as you saw me do. Sequence is if we have multiple meters on here, you can actually call out a sequence in which they should be read. So go to select value, and I'm going to pick a meter reading. I'm going to pick a couple meters. Okay, so they might not all make sense with the pump, but I'm more looking towards the meter type. Okay, so we have characteristic meters, continuous meters, and gauge meters. So we'll do the observation meter. I know it's not for a pump, but just bear with me. So I'll do new row, select value, and it's worth noting that okay, we'll do a run hours. It's kind of a generic. Now these meters are built in the meter application, and we could actually pick a meter group if it was assigned to our particular asset. It would have automatically came over when we applied the rotating item number, the item master number. But we didn't make a meter group and apply it to the asset, so now we have to do it on the asset itself. So that's another thing, another benefit to actually using the item master and the rotating item feature together on the asset. So because we didn't have a meter group, we're adding them one at a time. So we have the run hours, which is continuous. We have a characteristic. Now let's go grab a gauge meter. And oil pressure. Okay, those all make sense. So I'm going to save these. Oh, average calculation. Ah, see? Now, a continuous meter needs an average calculation method. All readings from the last number of days, last number of readings, average not recalculated. So these are different types of readings. I'm just going to click all readings just to make this simple. But you can see where you would need to pay attention here depending on the asset and the actual meter that you're using. So we can see here there's a rollover number. So let's say our meter rolls over at 100,000. So Maximo knows that if I pass 100,000, I've rolled over. Reading type is delta, or we can use actual, which is cumulative. Let's try actual. And accept roll down from asset. So roll down. If this was a child asset and we had a parent asset, we would accept the roll down by either that, or if there's a location meter, because meters can also be on locations, we could have it accept from the location. We're just going to click none because this is just it's the parent assembly, so we don't need it to accept anything. Remarks, you can always put remarks in your meters. Those are kind of cool. So there we have it. I mean, I just hit save, and all these meters are now associated, and they're all active. You can deactivate them by clicking that and clicking save. So now we're going to take some readings. So we're going to come to enter meter reading. Look, there's a reset, replace. We'll get into those in the manage meter. We'll get into that later. So right now we just want to take a reading, right? So we have bad tie. This is a characteristic meter, and that means that you can't just put a 1, a 2, or a hot or cold or whatever. You actually have to select a value from a table, and these are pre-populated when those meters are made. So we're just going to pick whatever. Not that it matters. Now, a run hours, this is a continuous meter. Well, let's open the details real quick and take a look. Here's a section for remarks, right? These don't really apply because we've never taken a meter reading before, and these values won't matter because this is a characteristic that we're doing. There's no roller, there is no data. So you could always go ahead and put a remark in here if you needed to. The run hours. Now the run hours, this is a reading. So we're going to do new reading. Now, if you look for a reading, there won't be any, right? Because this is a number value we're putting in here. So I'm going to put 12, right? 12 run hours, new reading date. You could always just do current date and time. You could click roll over if the meter rolled over. I'm not going to say it didn't, and there's no remarks because we just don't need to. Maybe. Okay, I'm gonna put a 30 in here for inlet pressure. New reading date. It defaults to me and today's date. I could make a historic or put this back in time. I don't think Maximo lets you do it forward, but I could say it happened on the 14th. And I could say, let's see. I hate to pick on somebody, but Tori, you're up. Okay, and we'll just put in test, right? So we're gonna save that information. Meter readings have been saved. Last reading date, last reading inspector, last reading, right? So, see, look, life to date for asset. It totals it for the entire life of the asset. And we can see the last reading, last inspector. Let's go find. Here's Tori, and here's the remark from the last reading test. Now, unfortunately, I can edit it here. I'm not a big fan of that because someone can accidentally wipe it out, or someone can come in here and alter the last remark that this inspector put down. So I'm going to go ahead and let's do another real quick. Let's enter another quick meter reading. We had supported joint before. We'll just joint tie. Ooh, look at that. Exceeds the maximum field length. So, and this is the demo site, so you got to wonder, what are you doing out there, IBM? All right, so I'm going to put in 22. No, wrong. I was in the wrong field. Why didn't you guys mention it? All right, I'm going to just grab a value. Now, here, see, can't grab that value. So, here, I'm going to put 22, and here, I'm just going to put 57. Right, and it's going to default again. Defaults to this information, and as the previous. So now we could see, okay, the last reading was, and that was the last reading. That's what we just put in, right? I'm going to come down here, and here we go. Right, no remarks. Last reading was 22. Rollover, right? Average unit today. Look at that. See, life for asset. So it's saying, based on this, last reading was 22, first reading was 12. So if this, and it was only a couple seconds apart. So what it's doing here is it's saying, based on the last two readings, you're going to have this many hours a day. So Maximo does some math for you, which is always appreciated. Now, we're not really thrilled with this. So let's say that there was an error. We're going to manage the meter reading history. So, unfortunately, with characteristic and gauge meters, you're stuck with it. All right? You're going to have to call an administrator because none of these fields will let you edit them. But with a continuous meter, with run hours, okay, you could enter this delta if you wanted, or here's the modified reading. So I'm just going to say 20, right? And I'm just going to write error. So I'm going to save it. Now, let's go 20. And look, we dropped by a whole lot of numbers. It was 7,000 something. Now it's 5,000 something. Close to 6. But you get the point. We can make modifications to continuous meter readings here. Now, you could always reset or replace meters. So the run hours, the continuous meter, we can go ahead and add all kinds of new values, which would be resetting the meter. Let's see, last reading, I'm going to put in 18. And we don't really need to do any of that. And now the run hours should be changed. So reset, replace, it's not necessarily doing exactly what it's advertised, but let's say I don't like the meter. Cannot delete run hours because it already has more than 1 meter reading. Well, I guess they all have more than 1 meter reading, so can't delete any of them. But we can deactivate them. All right, so let's say you put in a bad meter, or it was run hours instead of run kilometers or whatever, and you were been using it and you put more than one reading in, well, you can at least deactivate them. It still won't. It shouldn't let you delete them, or maybe it will. Hold on. It's thinking about it. Nope. See, can't delete it. So you can at least deactivate it, and then in reporting, you can flag the report to make sure that it's only pulling in active meters. And that's all we have for meter readings. It takes a little time, and the meters have to be created for you ahead of time, and we can cover that in another video. But it's not too hard to add them. But again, if we go to the meter group, if we would have added a meter group to the item master and then applied that item master, these meters would have been present, and it would have saved us a lot of time.